Welcome to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Because the audience always claps. We're here today at Thomas Edison Elementary School to allow the 5th grade students to demonstrate their knowledge of children's literature by competing in our version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? We will be following a format very similar to the show that has captured the imagination of so many Americans. Now you know the rules. We have the 3 lifelines available to the 5th grade contestants. We have Ask the Audience. We have the 50-50. And we have Call a Friend. Now the audience knows, here in the contestants here in the arena, they know that call a friend means they can call a teacher in the class, in the school, or they can also ask the class of the teacher in the school. So if you phone a friend, you have plenty of options, don't you? So that's what we're going to do today. Now preceding today's game, every 5th grade student has been asked a qualifying question for each game that will be played. We will randomly select the person who will become our first contestant. So, let's do that, my lovely assistant, Vanna White. Oops, right. Wrong game show.
Okay, our first qualifying question was, put these books in order by the year they were first published, starting with the earliest. And the first book was Peter Rabbit, and then Ramona Quimby, age 8, The Magic School Bus, Inside the Human Body, and finally, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. And the first contestant will be Kim Thomas.
Kim Thomas, our first contestant. Come on up and join me here, Kim, so we can play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And Kim, I'm going to ask you to pull your chair up real close to the microphone so that we can hear your answers clearly. We might need to move the microphone back to you. That might be easier. Okay? So, welcome, Kim. You're going to have to help me. I might forget your name along the way since I don't know everybody, but welcome, Kim. Do you know how the game is played?
Yes.
And are you ready to begin?
Yes.
Okay, so here we go with our first question. For $100, who spun straw into gold? Was it A, Rumpelstiltskin, B, Cinderella, C, the fairy godmother, or D, Pinocchio?
A, Rumpelstiltskin.
Rumpelstiltskin, you answered pretty quickly. You real confident with that answer? Is that your final answer? You're right. It was Rumpelstiltskin for $100. And now the $200 question. In the Polar Express, what did the boy tell Santa that he wanted? Was it A, a Game Boy, B, a silver bell, C, a teddy bear, or D, Pokemon cards?
B, Silver Bell.
Your answer is B, Silver Bell. You sure about that?
Mm-hmm.
You don't think it was Pokemon cards? Okay, and you're right. It is a Silver Bell for $200. And you're moving right ahead. The next question is worth $300. So, what is Junie Jones's middle initial? Is it A, B, B, C, C, or D, D?
B, B.
You're sure about that? And you are right. It is B, B. Junie Jones' middle initial is B. You have now won $300, and you don't even look nervous. Very comfortable? If this were real money, would that make a difference?
I don't know.
Then maybe, huh? Okay, so we'll go for $500. You ready? So let's go with the $500 question. Who ate the wash? Was it A, Jimmy's boa, B, Johnny's goat, C, Jenny's pig, or D, Joey's dog?
A, Jimmy's boa.
Jimmy's boa. You answered very quickly. You want to go with A? Is that your final answer? Are you a big reader? You've read a lot of books?
Mm-hmm.
What's a boa?
It's a snake.
And you are right. On both counts, it's a snake, and that is the correct answer. First contestant, you're already up to $1,000. $1,000, and you are only about 10 questions away from being our first millionaire. So for $1,000, in Millions of Cats, an old man and his wife are looking for which cat? A, the saddest cat, B, the prettiest, C, the happiest, or D, the ugliest?
I want to use a lifeline.
A lifeline. Okay, you're not quite so sure on this one. Which lifeline would you like to use? You know you have phone a friend, 50-50, and poll the audience.
Pull the audience.
We're going to poll the audience. Audience, are you ready? Kim needs your help on this one. She's not exactly sure. But in the book, or in the story, millions of cats, an old man and his wife are looking for which cat? Was it A, the saddest cat, B, the prettiest cat, C, the happiest cat, and D, the ugliest? Would you show us your answers, please? Which do you think? Oh, Kim, good luck. Wow. I'd say on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, every now and then the audience is really divided, and it looks like they are kind of divided this time. So what is your answer going to be?
I'm going to go with C.
With C, the happiest cat. Well, Kim, I'm sorry, that's not the right answer. The right answer is B, the prettiest cat. That's what the information tells us. So Kim, thank you very much. You made it to $500. You're our first winner, and we're going to go on to game 2. Welcome back to my lovely assistant, who's going to draw the next contestant for Edison's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
And the qualifying question was, put these books in order geographically by their settings, starting in the north and going south. The northernmost setting was Julie of the Wolves. Next, Sign of the Beaver. Third, Sarah Plain and Tall. Fourth, Island of the Blue Dolphins. And our winner is Trevor.
Trevor, come on down and play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? How you doing, Trevor?
Good.
You're in 5th grade?
Yes.
Who's your teacher?
Mrs. Kriesel?
Mrs. Creekle. And have you read a lot of books?
Yes.
Over 100?
Oh, maybe not that many, but
I'm sorry?
in the past couple weeks, I've
In the
been
past
reading
couple
more.
weeks, you've been
I've
reading
read-
more. I wonder why. Pull this microphone that way. There we go. Why have you been reading more in the past couple of weeks?
Because I knew we were going to do this, so.
And because, yeah, if you don't read the books, you can't know the answers. So are you ready to play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yes, sir.
Okay, here we go. Good. For $100. You nervous?
Yes.
You are? Good. Okay, well, that's good. We enjoy having a little bit of nervousness. Number 1. This is an easy one. Curious George is A, a cat, B, an ostrich, C, an alligator, or D, a monkey?
I'm going to go with D.
Gonna go with D. You never heard of Curious George the alligator?
No?
I haven't either, and you're right, it is D, a monkey. Congratulations, $100. $200 question. Do you know a lot about monkeys?
No.
No? Well, unfortunately, this is another monkey question. $200. Why did the monkeys in 5 Little Monkeys Sitting in a Tree climb the tree? Was it A, to get bananas, B, to tease a crocodile, C, to see better, or D, to jump in the lake?
Well, I've never read that book, so I'm going to go with the 50-50.
You're going to use one of your lifelines. 50-50 will eliminate 2 of the answers, so let's see which 2 of the answers are taken away. Okay, and we're left with the first 2 answers. The monkeys climbed the tree to get bananas, A, or B, to tease a crocodile?
I'm going to go with B, to tease a crocodile.
With B, to tease a crocodile. Any reason why you chose that answer, if you haven't read the book?
I was thinking about probably children's literature, so.
Children's literature?
Teasing in those books.
Too logical to get
Yeah.
bananas? Think so?
Yeah.
Don't monkeys like bananas?
But I haven't actually seen that, so.
Okay. Well, you're right. Good job. That's an excellent answer. Good thinking. Good thinking. So $200 now, and we go to the $300 question. Are you still nervous, or are you getting more comfortable?
More comfortable.
More comfortable. Well, this is the $300 question, so here we go. And audience, we need to remind you to be quiet as we're asking the questions, and don't say the answer because you might accidentally be heard. It's so hard, isn't it, when you know, oh, I know that answer. So here we go for $300. Who is Ramona Quimby's sister? Is it A, Beezus, B, Buzzy, C, Bessie, or D, Beulah?
I read this book when I was about in 3rd grade, so I'm going to say A, Beezus.
And you remember the characters?
Yeah.
From 3rd grade. That's a good memory because you were right. It is Beezus. So you have $300. And we go now to the $500 question. Starting to get nervous again a little bit?
Yeah.
A little bit, okay. For $500, Trevor, right?
Yeah.
For $500, Trevor, the kids in Ms. Rooney's class go to what school? A, Polk Street, B, Thomas Edison, C, Main Street, or D, Lincoln?
I'm going to have to ask the audience on this
We
one.
have a lifeline we're going to use. We're going to poll the audience. Audience members, get ready to show Trevor your answer, what you think the answer is. Let me read the question again. The kids in Ms. Rooney's class go to which school? A, Polk Street, B, Thomas Edison, C, Main Street, and D, Lincoln. Let's see what you think. Well, Trevor, it's your call, but as you look around the room, it looks to me like maybe most of the kids believe that it is A. So what do you think?
I'm going to go with A.
You're going to go with the audience. Now, have you watched Who Wants to Be a Millionaire on television?
Yeah, lots of times.
And you know that most of the time the audience is right?
Yeah.
But what happens when they're wrong?
Then they're usually wrong. 'Cause
Then they're wrong as well. Now look around. Is this audience trustworthy?
well,
Do you
I
think
know
they've
most
all
of
read
them.
this book and you can trust them?
Possibly, yes.
Possibly. Well, they're right. And so are you, so congratulations. We've got the correct answer. Which takes us, Trevor, to the $1,000 question. $1,000. And Trevor, you are just, I think, about 10 questions away from $1 million. For $1,000, what did Yertle the turtle want to be? The richest, for letter A, letter B, the handsomest, letter C, the highest, and letter D, the smartest. Yertle the turtle.
Pretty sure it was D, but I'd like to phone a friend.
You're going to phone You're not quite so confident with this one.
No, I'm not.
And we're getting there, Trevor. We're up to $1,000, so we want to phone somebody. Who would you like to phone?
I'd like to phone, well, Mrs. DeHano.
Mrs. DeHano.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get Mrs. DeHano on the line, and our friends at Thomas Edison Elementary will place that call. T-E and E instead of
Hello,
A-T
Mrs.
and T.
DeHano. We have someone who would like some assistance from you today. We have a question here. What did Yertle the turtle want to be? And we have A, the richest, B,
The handsomest?
C, the highest, or D, the smartest. And I'm going to put you on the speakerphone, which means I'm going to have to hang up. So if you'd
you
give
want
us
her
an
class to
answer,
answer or
and
just
if
her?
you would also let us know how certain you are of that answer, okay? Okay.
Hi. Well, I have to tell you, I'm not real certain, but I'm getting a little extra help from people that are watching in our classroom, and they're telling me that the answer is C. So that's what we're going to say.
Now, we don't know if
C?
Mrs. DeHano can hear us still. You want to ask her how confident she is of that?
Yeah, sure.
Trevor would like,
You-
Trevor would like to know how sure you are of that answer. How sure is your class?
So we're going to go with C.
Okay, we're going to go with C.
Mr. DeHano's third grade class.
Trevor, what do you think? Do you want to take their advice and go with C, or do you have a better answer or a
I
different
knew
answer?
Miss DeHano was one of those tricky people when she was, when I was in.
She was a
back
tricky
in-
teacher?
Yeah, she
Ah.
tried to put people in the wrong place, and I was pretty sure it was D, so I'm going to go with D.
You're going to go with D, because Mrs. DeHano is one of those tricky teachers who wants to test you all the time. Well, you know what? Mrs. DeHano was right. It was letter C, the highest. And that's what happens, but Mrs. DeHano's out here saying, what? But Trevor, I give you a lot of credit for going with your own hunch, because that's a hard thing to do, to go with what you think is right, even though it might have been wrong in this case. Congratulations, you did win $500, and thanks for being a contestant on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And so, you know what that means. One of you could be our next contestant in today's show.
I have next contestant in
Here
my
it is.
hand. The qualifying question was, put these characters in order by height, starting with the shortest, and the shortest character was Peter Rabbit. Next, Curious George. Third, Mrs. Frizzle. And the tallest character, of course, was the saggy, baggy elephant. And our next contestant is Jeff Ingalls.
Jeff Ingalls. Come on up, Jeff. How you doing, Jeff? Jeff, what's your favorite sport?
Soccer.
Do you play it a lot? Don't get too tired out. You still have time to read? Have you read a lot of books lately?
Kind of, yeah.
Like Trevor, you've read more in the last 2 weeks? No? You just read a lot of books. Think you can answer a lot of these questions?
I think, yeah.
Okay, Jeff, what do you think? Can you answer all of them and get us to $1 million? No? Well, let's think positively. Sure you can. And we're going to have the 3 lifelines available. You know what they are. The 50-50 and the phone a friend and poll the audience. So we'll start with our first question. Let's play for $100. Who wants to be a millionaire? And I think it's Jeff. Jeff, your first question. 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, what? Is it brown fish, A, blue fish, B, C, white fish, or D, piranha?
I'd say B.
You'd say B, blue fish? What makes you think it would be blue fish?
Well, I think I read this in 2nd grade.
Okay. Who wrote it? You don't know for sure? Anybody know? Go ahead and say. Dr. Seuss wrote it, and it is 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, piranha, right? No, you're right. It's the blue fish. It'd be a whole different story if it were a piranha. Ooh, scary. Congratulations, Jeff. You have $100. And now, Jeff, we go to the $200 question. Who turns Pinocchio into a real boy? Is it A, the red fairy, B, the green fairy, C, the blue fairy, or D, the yellow fairy? You're not sure. You have 3 lifelines.
I asked the audience.
You're going to ask the audience. Okay, audience, we're going to poll the audience on this one. Jeff isn't exactly sure, so let's see what you think. Show me your cards in just a moment. We'll ask the question again. Who turns Pinocchio into a real boy? Is it A, the red fairy, B, the green fairy, C, the blue fairy, or D, the yellow fairy? Let's see what you think. Well, it's a good thing those cards are colored because the colors really help them stand out. It looks to me like there's a few more C's than there are other colors, but that's for you to decide because they could be a tricky audience too, or they could be wrong. What do you think, Jeff?
I'll go with them.
You're going to go with the audience, and the audience is right. That is correct. C, the blue fairy. $200, Jeff. I wish we had those lights. Wouldn't that be fun if the lights came down? And now it's time for the $300 question. $300, Jeff. Corduroy goes looking for his what? A, button, B, watch, C, penny, and D, ball.
A button.
You know what? You look like you knew this right off the bat. I said A button, and you had a big sigh of relief. Are you sure that's the correct answer? Is that your final answer? You want to go with that one? You are right. It is button. Congratulations. That takes us now to the $500 question. And you know what? We're really keeping Mrs. Vandenberg moving here, aren't we? We're just moving right along. So for $500, Jeff, $500, you're right at the level I think that Trevor was at this point. He answered this one correctly. And you might be our biggest winner if you go 2 questions. $500. In Charlotte's Web, a spider helps a what? A rat, B, a pig, C, a horse, or D, a goose?
B, a pig.
And you look just as comfortable with that one. Are you sure that's your final answer? You're going to go with that, a pig. What do you think? You're right. It is a pig. Good job. $500. And now, if you get this one right, you'll be our highest winner today for $1,000. A follow-up book to If You Give a Mouse a Cookie is If You Give a Moose a what? A, meatball, B, melon, C, muffin, or D, milk dud? You're not sure, and you have 2 lifelines left, I think. Where'd the lifeline chart go? There we are. Okay, you can have the 50-50, and we'll eliminate 2 of the answers, 2 of the wrong answers, and we have phone a friend if you need to call somebody. You want to use one of your 2 lifelines?
I'll phone a friend.
You're going to phone a friend, okay? Who would you like to call, Jeff?
Mrs. Pico.
I'm sorry?
Mrs.
S-
No, Mrs. Deano.
Mrs. Dehenna. Uh-oh, she's a tricky teacher. You want to call her, huh? Okay. Mrs. Dehenna is the person that Jeff wants to call. Our friends at ET&T, TE&E will get her on the line. Thomas Edison Elementary.
Mrs. Dehenna, it's us here again at Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. We need your assistance again. We have a question for you. The sequel to the book, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, is if you give a moose and your choices are A, meatball, B, melon, C, muffin, and D, milk dud. And I'll give you a minute to ask your class.
Oh, you get the whole class.
Too.
Can we have your answer?
We know this one. We're very sure. This is C, muffin. We're very positive.
Did you hear what Mrs. Dehenna said? We were chatting here a little bit. Mrs. Henna said
Okay, thank you very much.
she thinks the answer is
She said C. and
C,
she said
muffin,
she
and
was
she's very positive. Can you scoot your chair forward a little bit? We think we're getting feedback from the microphones because they're too close. There we go. Let's try that. Okay, now, Mrs. Dehenna was accused of being a tricky teacher, but you know, I think I heard confidence in her voice on this one, and it sounded like the class was pretty sure too, but I don't want to sway you because it's your decision. Is it A, meatball, B, melon, C, muffin, which Mrs. Dehenna suggested, or D, milk dud? What do you think, Jeff?
I'll go with her.
You're going to trust Mrs. Dehenna? Learned your lesson the last time? Okay. She sounds like a good friend to have, and we'll see if she comes around the corner and gives you a beaming smile, because yes, Mrs. Dehenna is right, and so are you. Mrs. Dehenna, do we have a smile here? There she comes. Yay! You are the highest winner so far. You have now won $1,000, which takes us to the next level, which is $2,000. Right about now, they'd have a commercial. Don't you think, on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? So we go get some popcorn or something. But we're not going to do that. The lights are coming down again. And here we go for $2,000. If we all had flashlights, we could do that. What was the name of the town in Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs? The name of the town. Was it A, Sip and Slurp? B, Chew and Swallow? C, Bite and Chew? Or D, Eat It Up? The name of the town in Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
I'll use the 50-50.
You still have one lifeline.
I'll use the 50.
You're going to use the 50-50? Okay, the 50-50 will take away 2 of the wrong answers, so our lovely assistant will do that for us. And uh-oh, what we're left with is Chew and Swallow and Eat It Up.
I'd go with D.
You'll go with D, Eat It Up? Is that your final answer? Okay, no, I'm sorry. Eat It Up is not the right answer. It is Chew and Swallow. But Jeff, you are still our highest winner today. You've won $1,000. And thank you for playing Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? If you step off that way, we'll have our 4th contestant drawn. And Mrs. Edwards, who might the 4th contestant be?
Okay, the 4th contestant.
Let me guess for a minute. I know automatically this person is in the 5th grade.
Let me check.
Isn't that
Yes,
astounding?
you're right.
I knew I'd be right.
Put the following words in order to form the title of a book. The Way Things Work. And the next contestant is Robbie Colgan.
Robbie. Robbie Colgan. How you doing, Robbie?
Good.
Are you a big reader?
Here and there.
Here and there. Where's here? And where's there? Here's at school and there's at home?
Yeah.
Okay, you read a lot of books. How many books have you read in the last 2 weeks?
Probably, I don't know.
3?
Probably about that, yeah.
10?
No.
400?
No.
Okay, but you've read enough. Okay, well, you know what, Robbie? The first question's usually pretty easy.
Yeah.
You're not nervous, are you?
No.
Okay, great. So we'll see, Robbie, if you can answer this question for $100. Let's play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Robbie, what color is the Cat in the Hat's hat? Is it A, blue and gold? Is it B, green and white? Is it C, red and white? Or D, orange and purple?
I'll have to go with C.
You'll have to go with C.
Yeah.
Are you not a U of M fan? You're not an MSU fan?
They're okay.
They're okay, but the Cat in the Hat is red and white. Is that your final answer?
Yes.
And obviously it's red and white. Yep, everybody knows that. Cat in the Hat. Is it a small hat or a big hat? That's a free question. Now, $200, Robbie, let's go. It's what? He's a big Reds fan. Yes, he is a big Reds fan. For $200, we ready? Robbie, where did old Mother Hubbard go? Did she go A, to market, B, to bed, C, to the cupboard, or D, to bingo?
I'm not real sure about this. I think it might be an answer, but I'll have to pull the audience.
You're going to poll the audience. Use one of your lifelines. Okay, audience? This isn't one of the 3 books that Robbie read this week, and not one of the 400 he's read in the last couple of years. So, Robbie, let's see what the audience says. The question is, not yet, where did old Mother Hubbard go? Was it A, to market, B, to bed, C, to the cupboard, or D, to play bingo? Let's see what your answers are. Well, Robbie, it's pretty clear what the audience thinks.
I'll have to go with C.
You're going to trust them?
Yeah.
They look tricky to me. I think they all had Mrs. DeHanna last year. No, you don't think so? Okay, and you know what? The audience is right, and so are you. That's $200. Thank you, audience. Robbie, have you watched the show?
Yeah.
You know they always thank the audience. Don't forget. Thank you,
my
thank
mom
you.
always says the answer
Does
because
she?
she knows it a lot.
She knows all the answers?
A lot of
How
them.
come she's not on the show?
I don't think she wants to be, though.
Oh.
Too nervous, probably.
I would imagine. It looks like a pretty tense thing, doesn't it? I even tried the fast finger one, and that's scary enough for me. For $300, Robbie, for $300, our third question. Winnie the Pooh gets stuck in whose house? A, piglets, B, rabbits, C, kangas, or D, tigers?
A.
I'm sorry?
A.
A, gets stuck in Piglet's house. Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Okay. Robbie says that Winnie the Pooh gets stuck in Piglet's house. What do you think? No, I'm sorry, Robbie. The audience is right. He gets stuck in Rabbit's house. Yep, it's Rabbit's house. But Robbie, thank you. You won $200, and you'll step right out that way.
Are you ready for our next contestant?
We are so ready for the next contestant that we're waiting for you to draw the person who will take us to the $1 million mark.
Perhaps
Let's
the
hope
next
so.
$1 million winner will be, well, let me tell you the qualifying question first.
There we go.
Put the siblings from A Wrinkle in Time in order from the oldest to the youngest. And this was a trick question because 2 of the 4 children were twins. So the oldest was Meg. The next 2 or 3 were Sandy and Denny. So it didn't matter if you put Sandy 2, Denny's 3, or Sandy 3 and Denny's 2. And the youngest was Charles Wallace. And our next contestant is Billy Harder.
Billy. Mrs. Edwards, can I have you come back out just for a minute? Because if this is going to show on CPHS 6, and I'm sure it will, the audience at home might wonder how we did the qualifying round, and maybe you could explain that just for a minute before Billy has a chance to win $1 million.
Well, if anyone at home has tried to be on The Real Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, they know that they call up a number and they're given 4 things to put in order, like from youngest to oldest or from north to south. And that's what we did. We came up with 7 different questions of things to put in order. And yesterday, the students read the question, and on the telephone, you only get 10 seconds.
Right.
We gave them more time than that, right, Billy? To put the things in order. And then we went through, and everybody that got that right, their name went into a big bowl, just as when I've gotten all the questions right on the telephone, my name goes into a big bowl. They haven't picked my name yet, but we picked Billy's, so maybe you'll have more luck than
Okay, great.
than having.
And I was going to ask you if you've tried to get on the show.
I have qualified maybe 6 or 7 times. I'm waiting for that phone call.
But you know what? I've qualified about 4 times, so wouldn't it be great if you and I were on the show together?
Oh, we'd show
What
them
do you
what
think
Fort
the
Huron
chances
is
are?
like.
0 to 0, I think so too. I've never seen 2 people from the same
same town.
state, let alone the same town.
Right,
Maybe the same
state.
state, but not very often.
Right.
And you know what else I've noticed, which maybe you've noticed too? There seems to be more guys. For some reason. Wonder why that is.
I think it's all the Nintendo games, and they're
I
just
think
faster
so
at pushing
too.
buttons.
Yeah. I don't know. I think My wife pushes my buttons sometimes. That's an adult joke as far as, getting on people's nerves. You know what I mean? Okay. Sorry for that. So, Billy,
Yeah?
you got the question right. And how did you know the ages of the children in Wrinkle in Time?
Well, I kind of had to guess, but I went by what kind of name they were.
By what kind of name? Now, that's an interesting way to go. Now, see, I've read The Wrinkle in Time, and I know that story really, really well. I think there's a dog in that story, too.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think so, but I don't remember the dog's name. But what I really liked was the idea, I think it's called a tesseract, where they talk about traveling through time, and they bring the two ends of the string together, and the ant steps across, as opposed to walking the whole string. Anybody remember that? That was the neatest idea. Wouldn't it be cool if we could travel like that? Here's Michigan, and here's California, and it takes you 6 hours to fly there, but if we could just bring the ends of the string together and step over, they'd be there. Just like if we go from the $100 question to the $1 million question, you might win. So we're not going to do that, though. You have to travel the string, and are you ready to start?
Yeah.
Because the string begins with a $100 question. And Billy, this is your $100 question. Let's play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Billy, what color was Harold's crayon? Was it A, red crayon, B, blue, C, green, or D, purple?
I'm going to go with D, purple.
You're going to go with D, purple. Okay, and you are right. That is a correct answer. D is the color, the purple is the color of Harold's crayon. What's the book that's in? Do you know?
I think there's more than one.
There's more than one?
Yeah.
Okay. You ready for the $200 question? Mm-hmm. Are you nervous?
Kind of.
You seem very calm. Not bothering you at all.
Well, I've been on TV before.
You have? What show have you been on?
Well, I won in a speech contest last year.
Excellent. So were you on CPHS 6 with me?
Not with you.
Okay, because I don't remember you, and I probably would remember you if I interviewed you. Well, congratulations on being a winner there. You might be our $1 million winner here.
I hope
If you are a lucky person, sounds like you might be. $200, Bill, you ready? Paul Bunyan's companion is what? A blue ox. B, a brown deer. C, a purple cow. Or D, a pink rabbit.
I'm going to say a blue ox.
You're going to say A. Now, are you confident about that, or are you just guessing?
I'm very confident.
What's the blue ox's name, if you think that's the right one?
Babe.
Babe, and you are correct. It is a blue ox named Babe. Billy, that takes us to the $300 question. And pretty soon you will be tied with our top winner for the day. And I want you to go to $1 million here. We've got to give $1 million away to somebody. So $300, Bill. Shiloh is a what? A horse, A. B, a rabbit. C, a tiger. Or D, a dog.
I'm going to say D.
D, Shiloh is a dog. Shiloh the rabbit, doesn't ring a bell? Shiloh the horse. You think D is the right answer?
Yes.
How confident?
Very confident.
Have you read it recently?
I didn't read it, but I saw the movie.
You saw the movie. Okay, well, you are right. Unfortunately, the movie didn't change the name of the kind of animal. Sometimes they do.
Fine.
Okay, so $300, Bill. We're going to $500. You ready? They get harder. $500, Bill. To whom is Sally Ann Thunder Ann Whirlwind married? Is she married to Paul Bunyan? To B, Davy Crockett? C, Daniel Boone? Or D, George Washington?
I'm going to have to use 50-50 on this one.
50-50, okay? We're going to eliminate two of the wrong answers for Bill, and we'll see whether Billy knows to whom Sally Ann Thunder Ann Whirlwind is married. And we're going to take away C and D, and that leaves Paul Bunyan or Davy Crockett.
B, Davy Crockett.
Davy Crockett. What was your question before? If you didn't know before, what helped you this time? Who did you think it might have been?
I didn't know if it was Davy Crockett or Daniel Boone.
You thought it was one of those two? Well, you know what? You are right. It was one of those two. It is Davy Crockett. Congratulations, Bill. You've got $500. And that takes us to the $1,000 question, and you're just about 10 away from $1 million. And you've still got 2 lifelines intact. You can still phone a friend, or you can poll the audience. For $1,000. In the book, Jumanji, it says Jumanji. Is it supposed to be Jumanji? Yes. Or not? Jumanji, it's typed Jumanji. In the book Jumanji. Let's try that again. Bill, for $1,000. In the book Jumanji, all of the action takes place in A, one day, B, 1 month, C, 1 week, and D, 1 year?
I'm going to say A, 1 day.
1 day. Have you read the book?
Yeah, I've been through it a couple times.
Is this Jumanji that the movie was based on? This is the same story? Anyone know?
Pretty much.
Did you see the movie Jumanji?
Yep.
Is that helping you here? You know, because it could be tricky, but you're going to go with A, 1 day.
Yep.
You sure about that? Final answer?
Yes.
You're right, it is 1 day. How'd you going for a minute? Gee, I should have worn my silver medal tie today and get you closer to $1 million. You are now going for the highest answer. I think you are the highest answer so far. No?
Tied them.
Tied right now, okay? Answer this one and you become the highest answering contestant today. On Thomas Edison's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Okay, so for $2,000, Bill. For $2,000. In Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, what did people use for boats? Did they use A, donuts, B, stale bread, C, watermelon slices, or D, giant soup bowls?
B, stale bread.
You said that with confidence. Have you read this book?
Yep.
And you know this one? No question in your mind?
None.
None. Final answer?
Yep.
And you are right. It is stale bread. You are the highest winner today. Congratulations. If this were real money and you just had won $2,000, what would you do with it?
Lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff. Is there an electronic game that would be first in your list?
I don't know if it would be first, but it'd be pretty close.
You wouldn't save it all for college?
Not all.
Not all. Okay,
already
I had
have
a
some.
feeling that's probably the way it would go. Bill, we're going for $4,000. You getting a little more nervous here?
A tiny bit.
A tiny bit, but you still have 2 lifelines, right? Okay, $4,000. In the Harry Potter books, how do wizards receive mail? Is it A, by owl, B, carrier pigeon, C, Pony Express, or D, telegraph?
A, owl.
By owl. You say that with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, we're reading it.
You are reading it? Which one are you reading?
The first one.
The first one, what is it, Sorcerer? Sorcerer's Stone? I read that one too, and I too know that it is owl. Congratulations. $4,000 winner, Bill. Billy, we're ready to go on to the next one. You only have now, how many? Audience, help me out. I can't turn my head that far. How many questions? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 questions away from the $1 million question. Whew, we're getting there. For $8,000 with 2 lifelines, Billy is going for a big question, and here it is, Bill. In the true story of the 3 little pigs, in the true story, the wolf wanted to borrow A, straw, B, sugar, C, sticks, or D, bricks?
I'm going to say B, sugar.
Sugar. I think somebody thinks that's the right answer too, because I heard some applause, and you know what? The wolves had the pigs had straw, sticks, and bricks because they made their houses out of those. But they must have had sugar because that's what he wanted too. And he came to borrow sugar. Good job, Bill. $8,000 winner. And now what happens is we double it, and you're going for $16,000, Billy. $16,000. Billy, what could you buy with $16,000? What one big item would be an item you could buy?
A really big house.
Probably.
Well, make my house bigger.
Make your house bigger, make your room bigger anyway. $16,000. You ready? Here we go. You still have 2 lifelines. This is the first line in which book? Where's Papa going with that axe? Said Fern to her mother as they were setting the table for breakfast. Is it A, Little House on the Prairie? B, Charlotte's Web? C, The Sign of the Beaver? Or D, Indian in the Cupboard?
I'm going to say B, Charlotte's Web.
You're going to say B, Charlotte's Web. You don't need to use a lifeline?
I don't
You don't have to.
think I am.
Okay, and you're comfortable with that answer? Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Okay, and this is where Regis looks at the camera and goes, you're right. It is B, Charlotte's Web. $16,000, Billy. You are now the absolute highest winner from, I think, last Friday as well. And Billy, we double it again, and we go to $32,000. $32,000. And of course, you all know, the higher we go, the harder the questions, right? but you still have 2 lifelines, and you are only 5 or 6 away from the million. Billy, for $32,000, in the book Hatchet, in what country did Brian crash? Was it A, Puerto Rico, B, Canada, C, the United States, or D, Mexico?
I am gonna have to ask the audience.
We're going to poll the audience on this one. You're not quite as comfortable?
No.
So we'll see if the audience knows. Audience, Billy is counting on you now because Billy is up for $32,000. And the question is, in the book Hatchet, in what country did Brian crash? Was it A, Puerto Rico, B, Canada, C, the United States, or D, Mexico? Show us your answers, please. Well, Billy, I see a few D's, I see a couple of A's, but you know what I see most of all? B. And what did you think it was?
I have never read the book, so.
You didn't have a clue. Weren't sure at all. So what do you think? Look around at the audience. Do you think they might know? They said B for the most part. What do you think? What's your answer?
I'm going to agree with the audience.
You're going to go with the audience. And you said you've watched Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And you know the audience can say the same answer and be wrong. Have you ever seen them do that?
No.
No? Do you think they are this time? Think they could be wrong?
No.
No. And I don't think so either. They are right. Audience is right. Thank you, audience. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Billy has won $32,000. Thank you, audience, for helping him. But Billy, only 1 lifeline now. But it's a good one because it is, I believe, phone a friend. And you can call any of the teachers in school with the exception of the 1 or 2 that aren't available. And you can ask their classrooms as well. And Billy, we're going for $64,000. You're doing really well. You don't look too nervous.
Not really.
Did you eat lunch today?
Yeah, lots.
Did you have some Mountain Dew or something? Give you energy? Keep you going?
Sunny Delight.
Sunny Delight, same thing.
Sure.
Bill, you ready? For the $64,000 question, Bill's going to try and play for this, and he's got 1 lifeline left. That takes us to this question. Brown bear, what did you see first? Was it A, a yellow duck, B, a green frog, C, a black sheep, or D, a red bird?
I'm kind of risking this, but I'm going to say D, red bird.
Now, why are you kind of risking it? What do you mean by that?
Well, I've read it before, but something's kind of pushing me away from it, but I'm going to say D, red bird.
So basically, your instinct says, your gut feeling says, go with D, but your brain says, but wait, you might be wrong?
Actually, it's kind of like the other way around.
Oh, okay. But you're going to go with that one. You're risking $64,000. You know, you could walk away with 32.
I'm just going to go with D.
And good for you, because it's right. You've won $64,000. You are gutsy. Congratulations. Way to go. And now, Billy, we go to $125,000. Billy, for $125,000, this is the first line of what book? Baroom, 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 barippity, barippity, good. Did I say that right? I don't know this book. Baroom, 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 barippity, barippity, good. Is it A, Mummies Made in Egypt, B, Number the Stars, C, Bridge to Terabithia, or C, Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry?
I'm going to
Be
go
careful.
with D.
You're going to go with D. Did I say C twice?
Yes.
It says C twice on here. D is Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. Mummies Made in Egypt, Number the Stars, Bridge to Terabithia, or D, Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. I'm sorry, what was your answer again?
D.
You're going to go with D, Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. Are you confident of that?
I've read every book but D, and I've never heard that line before. So I'm going to go with D.
Okay. Well, Bill, it really was not D. According to this, it is, anybody know? C, Bridge to Terabithia. But you know what, Bill? You are an excellent player. Thank you very much for playing Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And you walk away with a check for 64. Well, actually, in the real show, you'd lose, right? Down to?
32.
32. But I think they're going to make you a good winner. So thanks, Billy. And you keep reading, okay? Good job. Good job. Hey, Bill, I'll watch for you on Quiz Bowl in the future. You'll be a good Quiz Bowl player. And here comes my lovely assistant, Mrs. Edwards, to draw the next contestant on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Is it going to be a girl this time?
I'm feeling for something that looks
Pink paper?
pink. Well, there isn't pink, but
Hang on. Let me just, for a minute. Would all the girls stand up just for a minute? Oh, there's a lot of girls here, and you're all entered, right? You're all possible contestants? Okay, ladies, have a seat. We got to get a girl up here. Come on, these girls want to play.
I tried to get a girl.
We hope it's a girl.
In Number the Stars, put these events in order from first to last. Nazis occupy Denmark, King Christian falls off horse, Jewish businesses close, Ellen is smuggled to Sweden. And the winner is a male.
A boy.
A boy. It is Zach Davis.
Zach, come on up. Okay, Zach, is your real name Zachary?
Yes.
You prefer to go by Zach?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll call you Zach. Let's turn the microphone into you there. Pull it a little closer to you, too. Very good. You know what? I bet you like to play sports.
Yes.
And I bet you like to be outdoors.
Yeah.
And I bet you fall down sometimes or get
Yep.
knocked down. And that's what I'm looking at. Mom at home is going to say, "Ugh, my son was on television with a green grass stain on his knee. But at least your face is shiny and clean and we're all set to go. Do you want to play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?"
Yes.
Okay, do you think you're going to make it as high as, oops, help me out, Billy did?
I hope.
You hope. At least as high as the other contestants did, and maybe even
More.
$1 million. Let's give it a try, Zach. Let's see what you can do. We know we start pretty easy, and then they get really hard. So the first question, Dr. Seuss wrote the book, Green Eggs and what? Was it A, spam, B, ham, C, bacon, or D, sausage?
I think I'm going to go with B, ham.
You think you're going to go with B?
I'm sure.
You're sure? Okay, I figured you must be sure, and you are right. It is ham. Green eggs and ham. $100. Okay, Zach, $200. You ready for this one?
Yes.
You've got all 3 lifelines, don't forget, in case you get stuck. Because you know what? I've seen people on the show get stuck on the $100 question. You know what the easiest question I saw once? What colors make green? Did you see that one? And the guy said, I'll have to ask the audience. Because we all know it's purple and pink, right? No. Okay, so, Zach, we're over to you. $200. What did little Jack Horner find on his thumb? A, an apple, B, a ring, C, a raisin, or D, a plum?
Well, haven't been reciting too many nursery rhymes, but I think I'm going to go with D.
You're going to go with D, a plum?
Yes.
You know, you need to, when you're outside, listen to people playing jump rope, because they recite rhymes sometimes, and they might say this one. Little Jack Horner sat in the corner. But maybe they didn't say that. But you'd have heard that the answer was plum, and you're right, D. Stuck in his thumb and pulled out a raisin? Oh, please. For $300, Zach, for $300, here we go. You're coming up. Sounds kind of weird, doesn't it? During which war did Number the Stars occur? A, World War I, B, World War II, C, the French Revolution, or D, the Vietnam War?
I know it's not A or B. Just got done almost reading this book, but I think I'm going to go with C, the French War.
You're going to go with the French Revolution?
Yes.
Okay. And you say you just got done reading some books, and you just got done reading this one?
We're in the middle of it.
You're in the middle of it, okay. So you think C, the French Revolution.
Yes.
Is that right? No. No, I'm sorry, it's not right. The correct answer is B, World War II. But Zach, thank you very much for being a good sport about the knee stain. Go home and show your mom what you did win today. You won a green knee, and congratulations. And we'll step out this way, and we'll take your picture. And you know, that's too bad, because Zach is a really nice guy. I was hoping Zach would go as far as Billy did, and then Billy and Zach could both help me buy a new car. But didn't work, did it? So we'll go to our next contestant, which must, I hope, be a girl. I sure hope we can get one girl up here. So let's see Who will be our next contestant on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
This was a very difficult qualifying question. We only had a few people qualify. The question was, put the following in order in which they are met by the bird in Are You My Mother? Something that you all read back in first grade.
Oh, first grade.
But what did the bird meet first? First, he met the hen, then the dog, then the cow, then the steam shovel, and who knew that? Jenna Rashid.
Hey, a girl! We finally have a girl. Jenna. Now, while Jenna's coming to the chair and the microphone, let me ask you, how many of you remember reading that book in first grade? 'Cause that's 4 years ago. Did you remember the order? How many of you got it right when she was reading off the answers? Not as many got it right. Well, you know what? As you get older, you'll discover that it's easier to remember things from a long way back and harder to remember things right away. That's why I write your name down on here, because Jenna, I might forget by the time you got from there to here that your name is Jenna. What's your last name?
Ration.
Jenna Ration. Jenna, do you watch Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yep.
At home? And you're ready to play?
Yep.
Are you nervous?
Yep.
You are? Well, you don't need to be nervous because you've got all these people here to help you in the Ask the Audience. You've got your lifeline to phone a friend, and you can ask any teacher in the building, with the exception of 1 or 2, because they're not available, or their classes. And you can also use the 50-50 and eliminate 2 of the wrong answers. And you know the first question is not terribly hard.
Yep.
Okay, so you ready to play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Here we go. Number 1, for $100. In the book, Caps for Sale, where did the peddler carry his caps? A, on his head, B, in a wagon, C, in a backpack, or D, in a suitcase?
I'm pretty sure it's A.
Pretty sure it's A.
Yeah.
How would he have a bunch of caps on his head? I'm just wondering.
I think he put he put one on his head, and then he put all the other ones on top of the hat.
So he could have like
Yeah,
a whole bunch of hats stacked up?
I'm pretty sure.
Sounds kind of hard for me to believe, but I'm glad you do because you're right. It is on his head. $100. We like to make you nervous. Do you notice that?
Yep.
Regis does that too. For $200, Jenna, here we go. We're going to ask the $200 question. What did Jack Be Nimble jump over? Was it A, a candlestick, B, the moon, C, a pumpkin, or D, the fence?
I know this one. I read it in a poem, and it's a candlestick.
And you are right. You did read it in the poem. Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Jack jump over the candlestick. Good job. For $300. See how fast Mrs. Vandenberg has to move around? We just make her run, don't we?
Yep.
Mrs. Edwards comes out once or twice in 10 minutes, you know, but Mrs. Vandenberg, boy, she's going to go home tired tonight. Thank you, Mrs. Vandenberg. For $300, Dr. Seuss wrote the book, Horton Hears a... Letter A is Y. Horton hears a Y. Horton hears a what? Horton hears a who, or Horton hears a where? A, B, C, or D?
I haven't read this one, so I think I'm going to use a lifeline.
Okay, which lifeline do you want to use? You have 50-50, phone a friend, and ask the audience.
I think I'm going to ask the audience.
Ask the audience. Audience, oh, wait, are you ready? Dr. Seuss wrote the book, Horton Hears a Blank. Was it A, Y, B, what, C, who, or D, where? And what do you think? Jenna, as you look around, it looks like the audience, except for 1 or 2, all believe that it was the letter C, Horton Hears a Who. Now, are you going to trust the audience, or do you have a different answer that you think you should use?
I'm going to trust the audience.
You're going to trust the audience on this one. You know what? It's true on the show, and it's true here. The audience is usually right, and they were right this time, too. So you're still in the game. Now, if there were a real grammarian in the group, they'd say it really should be Horton Hears a Whom. But that wouldn't sound as good, would it? It'd be hard to read. For $500, you ready to the next question? Here we go. And you still have 2 of your lifelines. For $500, in the Richard Scarry books, who is Lowly? Is Lowly A, mouse, B, a skunk, C, an ant, or D, a worm?
I've seen the show, and Lowly is D, a worm.
D, a worm. You're going by the show and not the book.
Yeah.
Have you ever read any Richard Scarry books?
I've read one. That was like, I think I was in 2nd grade.
2nd grade. Do you know what the worm looks like?
Yeah,
Does he have a hat on?
Yeah.
With a feather?
Yep.
Never saw it myself. But you're right, it is D, a worm. Lowly the worm. Now the $1,000 question is going to be hard for me because I don't know the first name, but I'll guess. So if I say it wrong, please forgive me.
Okay.
Okay, and maybe one of the teachers can help me if I say it incorrectly. But for $1,000, I would say Sadako, but they might say Sadako or Sadako. Sadako and the 1,000 paper cranes is the question, is set where? In A, France, B, Japan, C, China, or D, Korea?
I'm not sure on this one. I'm a little stuck between China and Japan.
Why would you be stuck on those two? What makes you think it might be one of those two?
Because I remember reading the story and I forgot if it's China or Japan.
But it's one of the Oriental.
Yeah, it's one of
Okay.
those. I think I'm going to have to use a lifeline.
Okay, we're going to use one of the lifelines that you have left. You have 50-50 and phone a friend. Which one would you like to use?
I'm going to use phone a friend.
Phone a friend, okay? And which friend would you like to call?
I think I'm going to call Mr. Borgman.
Mr.
Borgman.
Borgman, okay? Mr. Borgman, we're going to ask our friends on the phone to get Mr. Borgman on the line. You know what, Jenna, I think all the classes are watching this right now, aren't they?
Yep.
So Mr. Borgman already knows that we're going to call him. And I bet he doesn't answer. Oh, he did.
Can I help you? Hi. Okay, okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Somebody
Mr.
called for a
Borgman
pizza.
is not in his room right now.
Mr. Borgman's not there. So would you like to call someone else? That doesn't eliminate your opportunity. You still can call somebody. Who would you like to call? I hear Mrs. Dehenna is good, you know, for answers. She's not tricky today, but it's up to you.
I'm going to call Mrs. Johanna.
Mrs.
Dehenna.
Oh, Mrs. Dehenna. Okay, now, I didn't mean for you to have to take that teacher, but I know that she's there and she's reliable to answer the phone. I hear it ringing.
Hello, Mrs. Dehenna. It's us
Mrs.
again.
Dehenna.
Yes, yes. All right, here's your question. And it's a tough one for you and for the class. We have Sadako and the 1,000
Sadako.
paper cranes is set in A, France, B, Japan, C, China, or D, Korea. And I will hang up so that we can hear your answer.
We want to let Mrs. Dehenna and the class know that Jenna is counting on them, and it's a $1,000 answer.
Okay, we think that the answer is Japan, and the reason we think that is because we remember last year doing a paper folding activity when we had a Japanese guest in our building, and that's the reason I think it's Japan.
Now, Mrs. Dehenna gave you the biggest answer of the day. For the three answers she said, did you hear everything that she said? Okay. So I don't want to influence you one way or the other, and Mrs. Dehenna, you know, someone said she could be tricky, but I don't know. She's been right so far. So do you want to trust Mrs. Dehenna, or do you want to go with a different answer? She said B, Japan, but there's also A, France, C, China, and D, Korea.
I'm going to go with Mrs. Dehenna.
Go with Mrs. Dehenna. And you know what? She's right, and you are right. Congratulations. There's Mrs. Dehenna. Boy, you know, we need to get Mrs. Dehenna on this game. Mrs. Dehenna knows the answers today. Mrs. Dehenna, do you know what that Japanese paper folding is called? Origami. And 1,000 paper cranes is also a good clue because of the paper involved. Good job, good job. Did you do something last year in origami?
We had a guest in our building who's an
Right.
intern in Japan who helped us do that.
And did you personally fold some paper?
Yes, I did.
What did you make?
A swan.
A swan. Is it still on the mantle at home?
No, it's not. It's away.
It's flown away. And Jenna, you have now won $1,000, so that takes us to the $2,000 question. If you just keep going a few more, you'll catch up with our other big winner, and we'll see if we can get you to $1 million. For $2,000, in the book by Patricia McLaughlin, Sarah is A, plain and tall, B, short and pretty, C, young and thin, or D, fat and funny.
I remember reading this book,
And she's A, plain and tall.
Plain and tall. Is that your final answer?
Yes.
I've been asking final answer a whole lot because we're going in the early questions still, and Regis usually waits a while. But I think this is a good one to ask if that's your final answer. You're sure you want to go with plain and
Yeah.
tall? You don't like fat and funny?
No.
No? Maybe that's a sequel when she's a lot older. Okay, it could be. And you are right, it is Sarah Plain and Tall. I'll have to watch for the Hallmark production of Sarah Fat and Funny. It'll be a good show. For $4,000, Jenna, you ready? You want to go for this one? You still have, I think, one lifeline, the 50-50, or we'll take away 2 of the wrong answers. And here we go, Sarah, for $4,000. Or Jenna, wrong one. Sarah Plain and Tall. Jenna, smart and answering. Okay. Jenna, here we go. $4,000. In the book, the old lady who swallowed a fly, what did she not swallow? A, a dog, B, a cow, C, a snake, or D, a horse?
I have this book at home, and I know it's C, she did not swallow a snake.
She did not swallow. Do you know the song too?
No.
There is a song. Did you know that?
I haven't heard of the song.
Okay, well, I'll sing it a little bit in a minute for you, but you are right. It is See a Snake. And the song goes, there was an old lady who swallowed a fly. I don't know why she swallowed the fly. Perhaps she'll die. And it gets all the way out to the horse, and it says, she swallowed a horse. She's dead, of course. Because it's kind of a big animal to swallow. Any of you ever hear that song before? Okay. $8,000, Jenna, you want to play for $8,000 and see if you can answer this question? You still have one lifeline. Let's play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Got to get those lights in here. $8,000. Which animal is not in the book Bunnicula? Did I say that right? Bunnicula? Yeah. Is it A, a turtle, B, a cat, C, a dog, or D, a rabbit? What do you think?
Well, I know this one because I read it for my literature book.
Oh.
In Mrs. Cohen's class, and it's A, a turtle.
A, a turtle. You're sure about that? You sound extremely confident. Did you read that for whose class?
Mrs. Kohanov's.
Mrs. Kohanoff's class, okay. And Mrs. Kohanoff taught you well? And that's your final answer?
Yes.
And you are right, it is a turtle. Now I see you going like this. Are your hands getting a little clammy? You getting a little nervous there?
We're getting nervous.
Yeah. $16,000, Jenna. 16. Here we go. Madeline is good friends to a little boy named what? A, Pepito, B, Peter, C, Pancho, or D, Pokemon?
I know this one, it's A, Pepito,
How do you know this one?
because I haven't read the book, but I've seen the show like once, and her best friends are Pepito.
Pepito. So you're going to go with Pepito?
Yeah.
A, Pepito is your final answer? Final answer?
Yes.
Okay. You're right, it is. Pepito, you know. You saw the show, you read the book, and so we go to $32,000. 32. You ready? Which of these books did not win a Newbery Award? This is a hard question. Which of these books did not win a Newbery Award? Was it A, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, B, Number the Stars, C, A View from Saturday, or D, Julie of the Wolves?
I think it's A, because I remember Mrs. Kohano saying that Harry Potter could not win a Newbery Award because it was not published in, I think it's America.
In
So
America.
I think it's A.
Do you know where Harry Potter is published? Any idea? Anybody know? England, yeah. And you know what? These teachers have so much information to share, and it's wonderful that you listen because you are right. It is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. And that takes you to the $64,000 question. If this were real money, what would you buy?
A
car for Mr. Kraft?
I'd probably buy like a pool and a trampoline.
And then save the rest for college?
Not all of it.
Not all of it, okay. Well, $64,000. This is your opportunity to answer this question, and remember you still have one lifeline, the 50-50. This is the first line in which book? Once there were 4 children whose names were Peter, Susan, Edmund, and Lucy. Is it A, The Secret Garden, B, The Wizard of Oz, C, Peter Pan, or D, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe?
I'm not not sure about this, so I think I'm going to use my last lifeline.
You're going to use your lifeline, okay? The lifeline is the 50-50. We'll take away 2 of the wrong answers, leaving you the right answer and 1 other, and we'll see if of those 2, one of them sounds more logical than the others. And the 2 answers remaining are B, the Wizard of Oz, or D, the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And once again, this is the first line. Once there were 4 children whose names were Peter, Susan, Edmund, and Lucy.
Okay, that helped a lot because I wasn't sure whether it was out of 2 answers. But I know it's not Wizard of Oz, so it's D, the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Now let me just ask you before we call that your final answer, what was the other answer that you weren't sure of? You said there were 2. Secret Garden or Peter Pan?
I thought it was either Secret Garden.
Secret Garden or the Lion Witch. So we've now got these 2, and you don't think that there's children named Peter, Susan, Edmund, and Lucy in the Wizard of Oz?
No.
Somewhere over the rainbow, there they went. You know, don't think so. You are right, it is D, the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Have you ever read that book? The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe?
I think I did once, but I don't remember when.
C.S. Lewis wrote that book. Has anybody read it? The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? Edmund and Susan and Peter and Lucy go into another world and they meet the White Witch. And, you know? Aslan the Lion. Okay, great. Oh, we just jumped up here in my list. We went from 64 to 250. There isn't. Should we find? Okay, I've got one here. I'll go to game 1 and use that one. Because we don't want you to jump too fast, because the producers have to come up with all this money. $125,000. You look like you'll know this one. I bet maybe you will. For $125,000, what is the name of Harriet the Spy's nanny? Is it A, Old Golly, B, Young Polly, C, Miss Molly, or D, Frances? No lifelines left. 4 answers to choose from.
I'm not sure about this one, so I'm just going to have to guess.
I have to put on my Regis face here.
And I think I'm going to go with C, Miss Molly.
C, Miss Molly. Okay. You're going to go with C, Miss Molly. Is that your final answer?
Yeah, I don't really know this one.
You don't really know this
I haven't
one.
read the book.
Okay, C, if Miss Molly is her final answer, the name of Harriet the Spy's nanny. And I heard somebody over here go, oh. Do you know, is that right or wrong? It's not right, is it? No, I'm sorry, it's not the right answer. But what was the answer? Oh, golly, A, yep. But Jenna, you've been a great contestant. Thank you very, very much. And I wish you all the best of luck, too. Good job. And you keep answering questions. And that takes us through Game 7. We had 7 games arranged, and so that means that this episode of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire comes to a close at Thomas Edison Elementary. For the viewers at home, we hope that you've enjoyed sharing with us today as we've been playing Who Wants to Be a Millionaire as we show this on CPHS 6. And we'd like to encourage you as parents to help your children read by showing a real interest in books. And if they have a book that they're reading, ask them what it's about. Perhaps ask them to share it with you. And to the students here at Edison, I'd like to congratulate you on your wonderful success for being in the audience. And I encourage you to keep reading. And you never know, someday you might have the opportunity to answer that question, who wants to be a millionaire? Thank you very much. Have a good day.
We have all the today's winners.